Welcome to episode number 99 of the Talking Shop podcast. We never thought this would grow to an unbelievable level like it has not. But I am Josh from Grand Slam Cards, here with Michael over here from Medium Rare Cards over on Instagram. Go follow him. We got It's Cobb up here popping in. What's up, Jacob? Go
How you
follow
doing?
him. Well, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. We have two new breaks over on the break page. You'll see that on the ticker below. Go check those out. They're good ones and not expensive. And Michael's going to give you a rundown on today's episode.
Absolutely. So, welcome, guys. It's going to be a quick episode. A little quick hitter. We're going to go from this into the opening rip. We're going to talk about the two teams heading into the Super Bowl. Just some great games this weekend. Josh is going to tell us about what's coming to the shelves at Grand Slam. And then we've got some hobby news. We've got a few topics that we want to cover. And I think you guys are going to enjoy that. Some hits from the shop, hopefully. And then we can get you out of here with Crazy Stat of the Week. But Josh, what did you think about those football games yesterday?
You know, the best part about who won this weekend is the conspiracy of the Ravens-Niners logo prediction can be wiped off the board. You see that picture floating around the internet of a news channel that said, so Usher's performing at the halftime of the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl game. And so the scripted conspiracy theorists came out and said, look, proof that it's scripted. So I was like, I just need one of those teams to get beat so that we can give that conspiracy theory a rest. And that's what happened. I told you at the beginning of the season, I don't even like Mahomes, but I told you at the beginning of the season, you cannot bet against him and the Chiefs. It's like Patriot Brady in his prime. They're just going to be there every year, whether you like it or not. So I was half right on my Super Bowl prediction. You were very close, but you were wrong now, right? Because you had Lions.
I went from being half right to all wrong, which I'm used to that, right? I'm used to being all wrong.
For pretty long, you were really right. Who did you have again?
I had the Bills Lions going to the Super Bowl.
All right. So your two teams went farther than mine, but I did pick one of the Super Bowl teams with the Chiefs. So we'll see what happens.
I tell you, I bring him up because he just, I don't think there will be another one. But Tiger Woods, and I promise I'll come back to football here, but Tiger Woods had a uncanny ability to peak around the four major championships during the golf season. I think what Mahomes and that organization has figured out is how to peak in, like, they start getting really good late December and they're peaking through January and they hit their stride right around playoff time. And at that point, for me, it looked like they're starting to open up. I don't know that much about football. It looked like that they're on all cylinders. Like they've opened up the complete playbook now, and people look unprepared. And it really is. It's amazing. We got a question to ask you. Well, I'm going to divulge a question I asked you in our private chat as part of our hobby news. But go ahead. What were you about to say?
Belichick was known for doing the same thing. You know, it was like you'd even hear about they play the Bills early in the season and they play the Bills towards the end of the season. They wouldn't show their whole playbook in that first, even if it meant losing that game, he would save things for later in the season. And they're one of those teams, Andy Reid and Mahomes and Kelsey and all those stuff there. It's like when it really matters, you're going to get our best, and it's really hard to beat. And it feels like that way with the Chiefs too. So some of it's just a lot of those games early in the season with Mahomes, there were receivers dropping passes. That's just not going to happen every game. And so,
And then in the other game, I thought my pick was, I thought they were in. And we both have a good friend, Jason, who's a huge Lions fan. And about midway through the first half, I said, I'm not going to text you anymore. You're like the pitcher. I told him, I'll show you the text. It's like, you're like the pitcher that hasn't allowed a hit through the first 3 innings, and you're at the end of the bench, and no one wants to talk to you because nobody wants to
jinx it.
Yeah. And
I tuned into that game. I tuned in, and it was like 14-0 Lions early, and I was like, ooh, I was not expecting this. And then
no one was. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, what's funny? A TV personality said this. It's like, it's this narrative with Brock Purdy is really confusing because this is a player that normally everybody roots for. The underdog, the last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. He's a good Christian guy. You know, you can't find anything wrong about him. His family's there. And people don't want him to succeed because he's on a strong team with good players and good coaching. And it's like, he says, it's mind-boggling to me that we don't want this guy to succeed because of that. Look what he's doing. And then when he looked a little rough early in the game, I was like, oh no, he's going to be exposed. And then there's not going to be a quarterback in that 2022 class that we can chase. And then he just, I mean, it wasn't all him, but there was a lot of him, and he played really good.
He did. He rose to the occasion. He, you know, it was very telling when they came out in the second half and they had made the adjustment, and it was like a different player.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't look nervous. He rose to the occasion and really impressed.
And you have some of those, you know, I'm a Patriot fan, so I know this feeling well. The ball off the helmet into the hands, you get some of these weird fluky things that start falling your way or not falling your way.
Yep. So the Super Bowl set. So who's your pick in the Super Bowl? Are you going to stay with the horse that you rode on into this thing?
Yep. Mahomes is my pick. I did say to everyone, the last 4 teams, any one of those teams that wins could be good for business. You know, because I'm looking at it when I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm like, what's best for business? Well, the Chiefs and Mahomes winning and him attaining this level of to head in the direction of the GOAT or one of the GOATs helps his products and his cards. Lamar getting his first win, his first ring, and dethroning Mahomes and causing his cards to start to skyrocket is good for business. Purdy in the 22 class and Mr. Irrelevant and that story and him getting a ring, good for business, good for 22 product. And then the Lions, you know, Amon-Ra and Jared Goff and the underdog Lions winning. Probably the least affecting the business because it's a quarterback world, but
let me ask you this before we get to New in the Shop. Like I said, this is going to be a quick hitting episode. Going forward on fourth down, I haven't seen the statistics. Apparently, it's the smart thing to do. And this head coach for the Lions, is this a case where maybe pride beat the Lions? No pun intended. Or is the guy
for going for it?
Yeah, he went for it twice in the second half. Very makeable field goals. There was not a lot of weather, so let's assume he makes both of them.
So I heard just a tidbit working the shop with the TV on that he made the correct coaching calls in those decisions. The analytics and the odds and everything say to go for it, and maybe he gets a little bit of a second guessed on it because he does go for it so much on the times when the analytics don't say to go for it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, makeable field goals, you're talking 48 yarders, you know, stuff like that. So you could play devil's advocate there and say those weren't super makeable, different from a 22-yard chip shot. But, you know, you live by the sword, you die by it too. They got that.
You know what?
Because they did.
You're right. I would have to say that that if he's going to stick by it during the regular season, he may as well stick by it in the playoffs. And good on him, man, because we live in a second guess armchair quarterback society, right? So that whole city's going to be second guessing him. But tell you what,
he did
man,
win. He won Coach of the Year, but did he? I think, or he just won an award.
I have no clue. No clue.
I think they just gave him an award, or he won something recently. I thought I saw on social media, so which well deserved.
Well, before we move on to doing the shop, Jacob, you popped in here just right under the gun. How are you? How was your weekend? And any thoughts?
Chilling. How are y'all doing?
Good. Look at you rocking the microphone.
Jacob, we're when that file's done, let me know. We're gonna we have a small commercial from the sponsor of this week's episode. So
we finally got a sponsor. 99 episodes in, and we have a sponsor.
Speaking of being ready.
Is it ready?
I think it's about as ready as it's going to get.
All right. Take this 1 minute. Watch a commercial from our sponsor. Yes, the sponsor is me, but still, that doesn't count. Enjoy.
All right. Let me know if this works.
Hey, Michael. Oh, Michael.
If not, we'll try something new next time. So, here we go.
Are you looking to get your cards graded? Well, here at Grand Slam, we've simplified the process of submitting and getting a card graded. All you have to do is drop off your cards and kick your feet up, while our transparent tracking ensures that you are up to date with every detail along the way. When you log into our website, you'll immediately be greeted with each card in the grading process, along with where it's at in the process and its final grade. And with over 1,000 submissions and some of the top cards across the country being submitted through us, we've become a well-trusted source to handle and submit your cards. So you can do more collecting and leave the chore of grading to us. So don't sit on grading your cards. Get them submitted today at Grand Slam, where grading's made easy. Jacob, leave that pulled up. I want to. Can you play it and pause it when I'm shaking that customer's hand? I'm going to tell y'all something. Missions and some of the top cards across. It's about 10 seconds into the video.
Oh, oops.
Right there. I want you to pause it right there. So this is one of our customers. He's about 6'2". And if you look, we're really close in height right there. I'm standing on 2 stacks of Beckett magazines. So that's a little behind the scenes.
That's
hilarious. So a little Tom Cruise there. We had to do a little improv to make me and Wesley the same height there. But Wesley, although this is acting, Wesley does submit his cards with us for grading, and you should too. So get your cards sent in to be graded through us down at Grand Slam. You'll see that commercial on our socials, but I thought that would be fantastic.
Well, speaking about coming into the shop, if somebody comes into the shop this week, what sort of new products will they be finding?
So let me touch on a little bit of what came in last week. Donruss Basketball. I can't remember if we talked about it, but Donruss Basketball came out last week, I think Friday, and that's only the second product where the rookies are in their pro uniforms. So we've got that on the shelf. One of our really cool hits from the shop, probably the one Michael will like the most, came from a new product called Leaf Art of Sport. You get one autographed card in every box. That's on the shelf. We got a little Prism Retail Football. What else came out last week? Oh, Phoenix Football is on the shelf. And I'm trying to just do a recap of last week's. This week, Immaculate Basketball launches this week. I believe that's Wednesday. For our racing fans, Panini Prime Racing comes out on Wednesday. That was supposed to be last week. It got pushed to this week. And other than that, I've got a couple cases more of Topps Chrome baseball update. And then we filled in a bunch of stuff too. So the shelves are loaded. And those are what's hit the shop in the last few days and what's coming to the shop.
Well, I don't know if Panini did this. It's one of the few things they tend to do. sometimes is the Daytona 500 this next weekend. So they've got Panini Prime Racing coming out the same week that the Daytona 500 is being raced. So if you're into racing, come to the shop. Pull the
Maybe
trigger on some of that.
that's
So.
why. Also,
Um,
Pokemon Paldean Fates came out on Friday. We sold the daylights out of that on the weekend. We are filling 2 breaks over on the break page, GrandSlamBreaksRockhill.com. One is for good old Bowman Jumbo, Chasing Brady, Bowman Draft Jumbo. Sorry, that's hard to see. The light is really, really bad. There it is. So we're filling that, and we're filling 14 more hanger boxes of 2021 Optic Football. We're trying to find those downtowns right there.
they're somewhere. They're somewhere.
64 box case, and no one's hit one in the shop or on our last break, so we're due.
You are due.
Are they still a case hit in that, or is it not specific?
It's not specific, I don't think. A case has 64 hanger boxes. You would think there's one in there.
There's has to be.
At least.
There's got to be.
We'll see.
All right. Well, fantastic. Let's move to hobby news. And I do want to start with, and I thought I shared this in our private chat, and it has something to do with the product that you just brought up, which is Donruss Basketball. So let me share my screen. Share screen. There we go.
Oh,
yes.
And so this is the thumbnail when I get around to making the thumbnail for the episode. But the question that I asked was, is this no autograph? And my understanding that this is a short print. This is like
I can give you a little history of this card or a little info about it.
Is this genius? Are they leaning into the fact that they don't have these guys' autographs, or is this a desperate ploy for attention?
I think it's genius, and here's why. So these cards, if you're
hot
curious,
take. Hold on, let me put my gloves on. Hot take.
So if you're curious, what are these cards? These are case hit cards out of this year's new Donruss. So these are called next day autos, I believe. Is that first day autos, next day autos? Yeah. So they typically have an autograph, obviously. So for the players that they couldn't get autographs from, i.e. they are signed exclusively with Fanatics or someone else, I think you still have to have those guys short printed case hit cards in the product. So one of these actually got pulled in the store on
that's cool.
Friday when it came out. The customer it was one of the mid-tier names or lower end guys. So it wasn't someone crazy like Wemby, but he said he looked up and saw Wemby's card was on eBay for like nutso prices. And so he's like, I thought, what the heck, I'll throw mine up there. And later that day, it had a bunch of bids on it. It was up to 30 or 40 bucks. And it says the same thing, no autograph on it. So I think you have to do that for this card, to fulfill the checklist. If they're going to do a first day auto or next day auto for every rookie, you got to have every rookie there. But I think you're right. I think they're leaning into this no autograph thing. And here's another way to look at it. Does the market really care about their autograph, or do they care about the rarity of the card and what the hobby has crowned an autographed card as? And here's my defense. Because if you took that card to a player, he signed it, you get JSA or PSA to give you a certification for it, it sells for nowhere near what his autograph out of a Panini product was. And that's even on a sticker auto. So you're telling me a card that the player held in their hand and autographed in person sells for way less than an autograph on a sticker that they put on a card, proves to me that it's really not about the autograph. It's about what the hobby says that card is, and which is rarity.
Jacob, you look like you're about to say something.
No, that makes perfect sense. But if I get a card that's going to say no autograph on it, I'm throwing hands with either the shop owner or Panini themselves. So, Josh, you better watch
The
out. If I
shop
get one of
owner?
these,
You're one of them? What's
selling
the
this
shop owner
bootleg
got to do
product.
with it? All the shop owner did was say, "Hey, I want to buy some of these boxes of your product and put it on the shelf so my customers can
Bootleg
buy
product.
it in person."
Let me break the tie here. This is trash.
Here.
I think in 10 years,
I think
somebody new to the hobby is going to be looking through a 50-cent box, and these are going to be all over them. And this is going to dovetail. This is going to dovetail into your discussion on the question I had, and then the dude that came into the shop and was asking you questions. Because to me, this is these cards are trash. I can't believe that they were to ever do this.
Here's why you're wrong. Card value is based on rarity. These are rare. And so in 5 years, when you're looking for Wemby's card that says no autograph on it, there's not very many of them out there. Therefore, the value will stay high. Jacob, I have this for you. Blaming the card shop owner.
No, I get what you're saying. And like kind of like what we talked about over the weekend. Like Michael was asking, when is it time to buy a specific player? And you're like, never, because they're not in a prominent position. And it was like, that's such a dumb concept to begin with. So like chasing the rarity makes sense, but redemptions make people bad enough. This is just like a middle finger, if you ask me. But like, I get what you're saying. You got to include them because they don't have the rights to them, but it still sucks regardless.
It's a sucky position because they don't have the rights to these guys' autos. That's the sucky position. But you got to deal with the sucky position, and this is the best way of doing it. How about this? Why is CJ Stroud's bad example, because he's not. Let's just use this as an example. Why is CJ Stroud's 1-of-1 non-auto let's just say a top rookie? Why is their 1-of-1 non-autographed card worth way more than their numbered to 10 autographed card? You know why? Because that card is rarer. Value is always based on the rarity of a card, not exclusively. I tell people that come into the shop, I said, there's like 3 things that determine the card's value. How rare is it? What player is it, i.e. your quarterback or whatever, and what product did it come out of? Those determine the value of the card. So our question in the chat earlier yesterday, when Travis Kelce was going off and the Chiefs were firing on all cylinders, Michael asks, when do we start buying Travis Kelce cards? And my response was never. He's not a quarterback. So does that mean never buy one because you don't like, if you like the guy, you like his cards, you want to collect them, you think the price is good, you want to hold on to them? Those are all good reasons to buy a card. If you're buying a card to hold it and sell it later for a profit, don't buy a tight end. No matter how good the tight end is, buy a quarterback.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you. What you said this is the case hit, right?
What? Say it again.
This is the case hit, right? What is going to differentiate, or is that the word? Anyway, this from any other case hit of said player? Since it's not technically an autograph.
Yeah.
So could this be looped in with other case hits?
So a case hit in the same product, because if you got 2 case hits, you're going to look at which product is better. Donruss is kind of an entry level, lower end, mid end product. So a case hit out of a higher end product would be more, and a case hit out of NBA hoops or a collegiate product will be less.
Okay. Now,
I will say this. How about, what's another case hit out of Donruss? Is Night Moves out of Donruss? No, that's In Fuego, I think they call that. So let's say there's a Wemby next day auto and a Wemby in Fuego. Neither one of them's an autographed card. Which one would be more valuable? My guess is probably the in Fuego, because it's a prettier card. But I could be wrong, because the hobby may look at this as like, I hit his next day auto card. I know it's not autographed, but it's his next day auto card.
Are you saying the times you roll an autograph card is not a pretty card?
This is, dude.
All I'm saying is,
So I'm glad you said that there were other things that make a card valuable. It's also the collectability of it. I think in 5 years, we're talking about these inserts, the Infuego insert, the Color Blast insert, all these other inserts are way more collectible than these cards here. I mean, this is. I think this was a swing and a miss by Panini.
Define collectible.
That there's a market for it. Like if I was collecting Scoot Henderson, there's no way I would want a card that said no autograph. It just connotates something negative. To me, this is a complete miss.
Okay,
so
they could have done something here.
It feels like, say, I'm collecting this Mario game here, right? Remember, you used to go to GameStop back in the day, and they put their version of the no art on the front. At the end of the day, it's the same thing, but it feels like you got shorted a little bit. Does that make sense? I think that's what Michael is.
No, I'm saying that this is clearly in 10 years, people are going to, in the hobby, people are going to be like, oh yeah, this is signifying the fact that Panini was getting their tails kicked all over.
So you mean it's like it's acknowledging the fact that they messed up and they couldn't lock them down?
Absolutely. This is a clear indication of that. And now they've timestamped it. Now there's a product that actually timestamps the fact they've lost they have just now, to me, become BlackBerry or Kodak.
So
they had a stranglehold on the hobby. They got lazy. They got complacent. They lost these players, and now they're flaunting it. Terrible. This is terrible.
But that's like saying this Topps Chrome LeBron card shines a spotlight back on when Topps had a license and now they don't, so that card's less desirable. Sometimes some of this Panini licensed product is going to shine a light back on a certain time and era when they were making cards and people maybe loved NBA hoops. Yeah, it could go either way. Only time will tell. Let me answer Dave's question. What's the point of Panini writing no autograph than just printing regular cards? We all know Panini doesn't have the auto license. It looks tacky. Here's probably why. Because sometimes you get a card that has the empty spot where there was supposed to be an autograph. And so this probably stops 9,000 phone calls of, I got a card that's these next day autographs, or there's supposed to be an auto on here. By printing no autograph, they're probably saying this purposely doesn't have an autograph, so don't call us and complain that we left your autograph off the card. This is a sign that these are players that we don't have signed. Again, I think I'm going to be right in the long term because this is about rarity of those cards. I think Michael's right in this fact that it does shine a little spotlight on where they're deficient, but I don't think that will harm the value. Only time will tell. Tune in to our 5,000th episode where we reveal the verdict.
All right.
Can they not have their autographs in pack pulled form, or is it in any form? So, like, could they do these and then there'd be like a buyback program? They get them physically signed rather than sticker on. No. There's no chance of that at all.
No, they could leave it blank and you could take the card to the player and get it signed, but
or you have them sign over no autograph now.
Yeah, they could do that as well. So.
All right. I know that we're trying to get through this episode. I do want to talk about something, but Josh, tell the story about the guy that came into the shop and the question that he asked, and then I'm going to post this next.
It goes along with what you and I had talked about when it comes to, should we buy Travis Kelce? And I said, no, he's not a quarterback. And I said, I said one, and then I was exaggerating, but maybe on one hand, I can count the players that I've purchased their cards in the hopes that they're going to be worth more money down the road, and they actually have been. Brady, Mahomes. You reminded me of Ohtani. I think you could throw who else did we say in there? You could throw Jordan in there because you could have bought Jordan cards and specifically his rookie card and make money on that. You could almost maybe throw Acuna in there. You just still got to be a little careful. But the point is, everyone else, you can't buy those cards just to hold and make money. And you can maybe expound on this, but I've bought in players like Luka, who is amazing and who literally just scored 76 points in a game, and his cards, they may be lower in value from what I paid for them. You know what I mean? So the point is, if it were really easy just to pinpoint really good players, buy their cards, wait a year or two and sell them for a profit, then everyone would do it. It just doesn't happen like that. And I know COVID threw a little curveball into all this because everything was way up here, but you kind of take that out of the picture. Give me your thoughts, because
yeah. So and we don't have the time to dive into this this week, and we may do that, but I may share this link. Yeah, maybe next week. So this link here, the MLB just released its top 10 prospects for every position. So you can go look. And this is what I do when right before I'm opening any sort of Bowman product, right? Is I'll go and take a look and try to familiarize myself with like maybe the top 10 shortstops and outfield prospects.
Where are the catchers?
I don't know. Right here, catchers.
Oh,
catching prospects. There you go. Well, if you take this list, if you take this list and just boil it down over the next 15 years, then you get this list of the 2024 induction class to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Go and take a look at what you could buy these guys' cards for today. And I'm not talking base cards. I'm talking their best cards.
Yeah.
That you can find.
So,
and you would
sum
be
it up,
shocked.
Yeah. And he's saying you would be shocked at how cheap you can buy these players' cards. And these are some of the greatest of all time. Yeah. So like the example in the store the other day was a nice licensed patch auto of Laporta, the tight end for the Lions. The question was, hey Josh, should I sell this now or should I hold it? Because I think he's going to be a really good tight end. I think he's going to have a good career, and I think he's going to have a good, strong year next year. I said, I agree. I think he's going to have a great year. He's going to have a good career. He could be a stud of a tight end for a long time. Sell the card now. It's not going to be worth more than it is right now. And that's just the rough truth of this hobby. And I said, Mahomes is the only one you should go buy right now with the hopes of maybe holding. I bought Mahomes high too, and have lost money on his cards that have gone down because it's a little bit of a stock market. But there's very few players I feel comfortable with right now buying them to hold for a profit. It's just hard, and I haven't been doing this more than 7 years, so I have to be a little careful because I'm still learning like everyone else. But I've bought enough Lukas and Ja Morant's and Trouts and some of these guys where I've stuck them aside thinking this is going to be a gold mine sitting here, and they just creep down in price because what happens is more of them surface, more of these 10s get graded, and then there's more 10s, and then Bobby puts his on for 1,000, and then Jimmy puts his on for 990 because he's got to sell his, and the next guy puts it on for 980. Then some idiot takes an offer for 750 because he needs some money quick, and now the new comp is 750, and it takes a miracle for those cards to work back up to what they were. So buy the cards that you collect because you like to collect them. Just be really careful in. Here's another example. We're running really low on time, but Puka Nakua base prism card. It's around $5. The customer says, "Do you think I could hold Puka for 5 or 6 years and it'd be worth $25. I said, well, here's an example. Cooper Kupp. He's been in the league for 7 years. He's won a Super Bowl ring. He's had a great little career so far. He continues to be a stud. And you look up his rookie, which is out of 2017. It's a silver prism. It sells for like $12.
Yep.
It's just sell it now. More and more of those base rookies are going to come out. Unfortunately, the base rookie card is going to be printed so heavily that it's going to be relegated to kids. For a kid that wants to get CJ Stroud's rookie card, his base prism rookie is no longer going to be $200 and $300 and $400 down the road if he's a good player. It's going to stay at $20 or under, based purely on the billions that are printed. Guys, they're printing so many to keep up with the demand of the hobby, which is good. There's a big demand in the hobby.
Guys, jump into the comments here. Let us know what you think about this subject and any other subjects that we've covered today. Like
next week,
yes,
longer week, next episode. We'll hit a bunch of these questions and talk about it more.
Absolutely. All right, Josh, I know that you got to run here. Why don't you go ahead and just take us out with crazy stat of the week and we'll say goodbye.
I got to rub this card in your face first. So
this card, dang it.
This card came out of the Leaf Art of Sport. Actually, let's show a couple cards that got pulled in the shop really quick. Just ones that I got saved on my phone here. And then I'll take you out with a stat. So this is in no particular order. This was pulled out of Tier 1. Pretty sweet. Bryce Harper to 10 auto.
Ooh, nice.
Cool. And the product that we are filling right now.
Mood Ring.
Numbered to 25. That's Skeens. I got to show this. Customer hit this, redeemed it, and wanted to show us. That's to 25 De La Cruz.
Holy mackerel.
It was a redemption that took forever. And then, we had some other cool stuff posted. So the Leaf Art of Sport, the last 3 cards, it's a really cool product. Little representing Fox News. This is Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Michael Strahan triple auto. It's pretty sweet.
Wow, that is sweet.
And then we have a card like this, similar to this on eBay. It's the Nadal Alcaraz number 7.
That's cool.
But this is the one I thought y'all would get a kick out of. It came out of Leaf Art of Sport. It's numbered to 2. You know that guy?
He is a little famous.
And it's a little not focusing, but that's Lionel Messi.
This is a wild card.
That is awesome.
Come on, focus. There it is. Almost. Anyway, fiber optic, Messi. That's a few hits. On a longer episode, we'll show you some more, but I thought that was really cool to see. Let me take you out with this stat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Short and sweet this week. We'll do a longer one next week. So this picture right here, I'm really hoping this will focus. I should have sent this to Jacob, but there we go. All right. The individual on the left, Todd Helton, just got the call to the Baseball Hall of Fame. The individual on the right, Peyton Manning, was his backup at Tennessee.
That's crazy.
Do you believe that? Todd Helton makes the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, and his backup was one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play.
Well, guys, thank you for being here. I know it was a short episode. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you like this sort of content. Leave a review. And make sure you guys tune in next week for episode 100. Jacob, take us out.